Solid contact. Unbelievable, Andy North.
Well, that reminds you a little bit of what Ernie Els did out of this left front bunker. That was maybe the shot that won him the Open Championship in '02.
And he'll have that to save par here at the 13th to 12.
And live on the green with Hunter Mahan putting for birdie.
Well, Paul, I gather you've seen a lot of this putt today.
Everybody leaves it short. Not Hunter. He's giving it a charge. Hunter knows the importance now of trying to make a little bit of a move.
16T.
Phil Mickelson on a hole that has given him fits this week.
Come on.
Boy, you're right, Sean. He's played it 3 over in 3 days. That was a 6-iron from the tee.
And a yard or two additional carry, and that was going to be real good. Now it's not going to be on the green. And the nightmare at 16 continues for Phil Mickelson, who 4-putted this hole on Friday night.
I don't know if you could hear him, Sean, but he just said, that's as good as I got.
He said, I hit it perfect. He's going to really have to collect himself mentally now.
At one point, it was about 20 feet from the hole. Not quite enough into this cold breeze. To 12.
Westwood to get a share of the lead back. Not too far away from where he is right now. Adam Scott trying to make that scramble in par and hang on to that 1-shot lead. In the group with Tiger.
And this for his 2nd birdie in a row. Very fast, moving from his left to right.
He made a putt much like this on Thursday for birdie on this hole.
Didn't hit it. He's at a point in the game he can't afford to leave anything short. To 12.
Mahan for par. Crushing miss. It's not just how far you drop, but the people who jump in ahead of you here. So many people still tightly packed. Some more clouds rolling in. The weather forecast has not been dialed in today as it was during the week. They said the sun was going to burn this cloudiness and marine layer off, and it hasn't. More clouds have rolled in. 13.
Andy North, if this goes in on a scale of 1 to 10, how good a par would this be?
About 11.5.
Uphill. And he will drop back into a 3-way tie. What a great second, but just couldn't capitalize.
Gosh, all of a sudden, Phil Mickelson is tied for the lead.
All right, let's take one more look at it. Looked like he stroked it pretty well. Looked like he liked it and just maybe didn't take the break. Now over at 16.
Phil Mickelson looking at what he has now that his ball has rolled quite a distance back off the front of this green.
Well, I was privy to the conversation between Jim Mackay and Phil walking to this, and Jim was just encouraging him to just keep hitting shots as well as you hit that one. That's all you can do.
And that's exactly what a caddy is supposed to do. That's why he's the partner, and that's why this team works so well together. Mickelson is the best in the game today from this distance.
Started the day 5 shots off the lead. Has played a wonderful final round, 3 under today. And now tied for the lead with Westwood and Scott.
Carried it beyond the most severe of the slope.
But that's very good. About 7 feet for par for Phil. 4 times a major champion, but never the Open Championship. 14.
Yeah, just stay there. Have again, please, guys. No cameras.
475. Andy North, given the conditions, talk us the mindset off this tee.
This is all about, particularly coming off a bogey, putting this ball in the fairway, keeping it out of those 2 deep bunkers in the left. Tiger Woods has already put his ball on the right edge of the fairway. Wind howling from behind and a little bit to the left, which will cause the ball to run to the right edge of this fairway. And this ball's landed in the left-hand side, and it's going to be perfect.
Oh, it is, Andy, and he's taking those bunkers out of play. Terrific shot.
Time for a quick lunch. Who knows what else is going on down there in that stomach at this point. 13.
From 189 yards, lead Westwood.
That is straight into the teeth of it, Curtis, with a 4-iron. Heading right, ballooned.
Shocking Adam Scott and Lee Westwood are hitting balloon shots to the right, because into the wind you want to drive it down.
That was not driven down, but maybe you're into that real long rough.
Just bad swings at the wrong time.
Phil Mickelson, you mentioned 5 shots back starting the day, but he said last night, if I go out and shoot something in the 60s, I think it will be enough. And that might turn out to be true. 3 under for his round today and tied for the lead. Trying to stay tied for the lead with this par putt at 16. Yes! You know, there are all kinds of good and bad breaks with the bounces around here, but he certainly was not lucky with his tee shot here at 16 and followed the advice of his caddy, Bones Mackay. Keep hitting good shots. He's tied for the lead.
What a day it's been with just massive names. Westwood trying to get that first major in all the tries, 61 of them. Mickelson trying to win this championship for the first time. Woods trying to win a major for the first time in 5 years. All the names have been in some tough spots. Here's Westwood at 13.
Just trying to get it on the green. Come on back. Yes. Yes. Pretty good from where he was.
I don't know you could do any better, actually. That's pretty good fortune.
To 17.
Mickelson on the tee, par 5. Although he's yet to birdie this week.
Well, I don't know if he can get home from there. That is questionable, but what a beautiful tee shot.
330 to get home. There's a section of cross bunkers that Tiger got caught up in yesterday, and if you get caught up, it's a shot penalty in a sense. To 14.
And here's Woods second at 14.
217. Wind's howling. He's got to land this 20 yards short of the green.
And releasing nicely.
Look at this one, man.
Wow.
Game back on.
Whoa.
This is unbelievable that he could still be in it with some of the shots that he's hit. But he is alive and well.
Might be 2 back if he can make that. 13.
And this for A fantastic par if this could go in.
Curtis, I can tell you the whole environment out here has changed. People scampering for spots, all the crowd. Now we're gathering in just 6 holes. It's a different place.
Well, made bogey here at the par 3 after a very poor tee shot, and he will drop back to even par. 1 behind. There you see his card. He just has not been very sharp from tee to green today.
He hasn't been sharp all week right there, and this putter's been saving him, but now he's put so much pressure on it.
Back at 14, Adam Scott, second shot.
From 215 the left side of the fairway, a little more difficult angle. Try to do the same thing, land it well short.
Watching closely, you can see that was an 8-iron from 215. He has lost that, and that won't stop.
So he has to get up and down, stay at 1 under. 13.
Mahan for birdie. He will stay at +3 for the day, +2 for the championship. Got to make something happen. Maybe force the issue. Now Zach Johnson over at 15.
This could be Curtis. Oh my goodness.
It almost teases you. You know, it looks so good for so long.
Every muscle in your body tightens to try to body English that thing in there.
To 18.
So the number posted is 1 over par by Ian Poulter. Zach Johnson's on that number right now. So is Stenson. You see Poulter is finished. The 2 overs trying to get there, including Hideki Matsuyama with this putt for birdie at 18. Oh, just under the hole. The 21-year-old making his debut in the Open Championship, who finished 10th at the U.S. Open this year. His first time there, has a chance to finish another top 10. Currently tied for 7th.
Shame too, Mike, because he was given a 1-shot penalty for slow play.
That's right. Yesterday, back at 17, took 2 minutes and 21 seconds after his group was warned and then put on the clock. Wow.
What if 1 over's in a playoff? Think he'd lose some sleep?
Adam Scott, 14, third shot. Took him.
Where's that going? That could go. Oh,
Like we're tied.
He was lucky that ball stayed on the green. I'm sure he's feeling it. Whether you win the Masters or not.
Paul, technically it didn't stay on the green.
No, you're right. It's not. Could have rolled all the way down that hill into the wispy stuff, though, Andy. So.
Yeah, that was fortunate. Now he's got to summon a lot of energy here after missing that short putt on the last hole. Then that poor putt. Can he get refocused and make a good stroke and see if he can make it or not?
This may be the most important moment of the tournament for him after making bogey there, missing the pretty makeable putt on 13. This is really huge. Mickelson with a par 5. I would say a good layup for Mickelson would make that a birdie hole. I believe Adams might need to make this, Andy.
I agree. He has the length to get it up in front of 17 also, but it's all about this shot right now.
Oh, just killed it. Oh.
And Phil Mickelson will lead alone. You heard a cheer while that was going on. 17.
It was a question of could he get home. Phil Mickelson, who will lead on his own.
Go, baby. Come on.
It was 303.
Oh, what a bounce off that slope.
2 3-woods. Through it from the tee, through it there.
And Phil Mickelson, leading the Open Championship, has just gotten home in 2 on 17. He'll have that putt for eagle.
Tiger makes his birdie. There were 4 Adam Scotts between Woods' second and that putt for birdie. So Tiger's 1 over. Adam Scott's back to even. But Mickelson is on the green alone, walking up there after 2 great 3-woods at the par 5. And Phil Mickelson leads the Open Championship, the major he thought he really couldn't contend in. Now he's got a chance to get his name on the claret jug.
You don't need to be a Scotsman to know. Golf grabs a hold of your heart and never lets go. You can live forever if you seize your moment at the Open Championship.
And Phil Mickelson makes his approach to 17. We knew all week that this would be a swing hole, because not only is it the 17th, but it would be the 71st hole in the championship, where anything could happen. Been interesting for those of you that follow Jason Duffner on Twitter. He not only shot one of the rounds of the day, but he's been prophetic.
Go, baby. Come on.
The Duff Daddy said Phil can get on 17 and 2. Precise shot required, and that was delivered. He's now walking up to survey the putt. Difficult to tell you exactly what this putt does. No one's been there. The only eagle we've seen was jarred by Ernie Els from very nearly the crosswalk. And my goodness, given all his history in the U.S. Open and this Open, if he holds this, whew, back to 14.
Westwood second shot, Scott.
This was an 8-iron off just a smidge of a downhill lie. Where he hung the last tee shot. This much more solid starts left, trying to find its way to the right.
Get a look at one here.
He's now hit half the greens in regulation.
Putter trying to bail out the ball striking. 17.
Mickelson's eagle putt on its way. That will just drift off, but he will tap in for a birdie and a 2-shot lead.
Scott, great players hit great shots when they need them the most, and Mickelson's proven himself time and time again. The shot he hit on 13 at Augusta from the pine straw, this right here will go down in history as one of the greatest 3-woods ever hit.
But Paul, you know as well as anyone, he couldn't flight the ball correctly over here. He said he worked with Dave Pelz, kind of embraced the shots that he needed to play, but those are just 2 classic Phil Mickelson shots right there.
302 yards into a breeze. It's unimaginable, and the target and the trouble around the target is what makes it as spectacular as it is. Look at these 2 guys. They know that this championship is theirs to lose right now. He has to execute on 18. There's bunkers out there that will ruin your hopes. You've got to get the ball between those bunkers.
Now back over at 15, Tiger Woods on the tee.
Just another quality iron shot off the tee, Curtis. Going right down the right center of the fairway.
Does he know what Phil has done, Andy?
I don't think he has any idea. There's a big cheer, but he doesn't really know what it was for, but I'm sure he's assuming that was Phil making a birdie. So he stands 3 back right now. Adam Scott 2 back.
Mickelson's one of those guys that, you know, he doesn't let his emotions control him. He controls his emotions. And an example of that was that shot he hit on 16 that rolled all the way back down the green. And he was able to get that up and down.
I had the feeling it would be one of those all or nothing days for Phil. If you got a sniff of it, you'd see something like this, and if you fell adrift, then maybe you just not lose interest, but lose the energy to keep grinding. Instead, he walks to the 18th tee. Hold on to that ball, youngster. He might have just been given a souvenir by the Open champ. Mike, Wimbledon's the fortnight, but this would be a hell of a 2 weeks for Phil Mickelson.
In Scotland especially, right? Won the Scottish Open last week. Look at this. It's cool. Get through the people there. That's a long walk. It's right in the neighborhood of about 180 steps to get back to that 18th tee when you leave the edge of the 17th green.
He's already thinking about this shot. Bones went over there and pulled up some grass to give it a toss to see what the wind's doing.
Well, back on 15, Adam Scott out of the middle of the fairway.
171. Just watched Tiger Woods' ball land about a yard short of the green and stop dead. So I think that may have confused him a bit.
Well, you can see the patch of green grass there, and those balls didn't go forward like they expected, although Adam has a makeable putt there. It's been so frustrating this week. You're never quite sure how the ball's going to react.
End of that long walk now. Curtis, I remember in preparation for an Open Championship being out early in the week. It's about 7-8 years ago.
Away, please. Cameras away.
And it was Jim McKay and
Cameras
Phil.
away, please. Thank you.
And it was continuing on the conversation Scott Van Pelt just brought up, flighting the ball. And he said, I just love the golf and the history of it so much. I can figure out a way to do this. And boy, he has. Westwood for birdie. Doesn't reach, so he remains 2 back.
Could be slipping away from Westwood.
Could be a repeat of the 2010 Masters where Westwood had the 54-hole lead, struggled with his ball striking, and Mickelson was the one who walked away with the title. Let's set up this tee shot here at 18, Paul.
Well, Phil hasn't hit driver all week. He doesn't even have one in his bag. There's a bunker on the right that he's got to avoid. The wind is left to right, which is a good wind for a left-hander. 283 to the bunkers on the left. Is he going to hold it into the wind? Or is he going to let it ride?
Starts out great.
It is perfect, Judy.
You know, he said as a kid he always wanted to play the hardest shot. It seems as though he's toned it down this week, and except for when this golf course gave him the hardest shot.
Mickelson said a lot of crazy things in his career when asked about the difference between a good shot and a smart shot. He said, well, or a great shot and a smart shot. A great shot's when you pull it off. A smart shot is when you don't have the guts to try it. That was some time ago he said that.
He's tried plenty of them,
yes,
and he's made plenty of great shots. One of a kind in so many different ways, and he's trying to add that 3rd different major championship, 5th overall.
I'm not so sure I agree with all that, but you know, he looks at it differently than I do, and that's maybe why he's won 40+ times. Now back over 15, Tiger Woods. There's only been 1 birdie here in the last 13 groups. Been a hard one to breed, Andy.
And you can see this green area. Tiger's second shot landed and literally didn't go 4 feet. Now he's left with 45 feet, and this is going to be quick as it goes over a little ridge.
Didn't do anything like he expected, and oh, he's going to have 5 or 6 feet left.
And then some. That's probably 12 to 14. Curtis really ran by the hole.
Phil Mickelson in the fairway at 18, leading by 2. His thoughts of how close his name is to appearing on the Claret Jug. Mickelson's name alone atop the leaderboard and a couple clear. Ian Poulter, that 1 over par that he posted to see if anybody could surpass it. Most people dropping 2-1 or below. Mickelson rising above. Adam Scott still has holes to play. 15
to get within 1. Now back on the tee.
Going the conservative route. A few players would have been tempted to hit driver at this point, but not Lee.
Well, you have to put it in the fairway. The hit driver brings in all the bunkers down the fairway where you will make bogey. This way he gives himself a chance. That's all you can expect from yourself. Give yourself a chance. He's only 2 back with 4 holes to play, so.
It could be too much, yeah.
Day 18.
I mean, I think
Should be a hole to 6, though.
Yeah, and I think you more finish 6, you know? Yeah. I think that would be a nice fit. Get something that's going to run out a little bit.
I think the left to right wind from that left half of the fairway is a little bit more helping than some other places. 209 yards.
Oh, what a shot by Mickelson.
That is incredible.
Phil's family is here over at the Scottish Open when he played last week. Then they went on vacation for a bit while Phil came up here to prepare. Another yard or two, Paul, and then it just drifts down the bunker. And we've seen a couple of shots do that already here at 18 today.
The great players just seem to be able to pull it off, and Mickelson to be able to pull that shot off after he's hit 4 of some. Well, actually, the shot on 16 was a great shot. Think of the shots Mickelson's hit coming down the stretch. He is a true champion, one of the greatest players to ever live.
That word great gets overused. He's already in the Hall of Fame. We know about the 3 Masters, the PGA in 05 that he won, the 41 career titles. Every time the USA has fielded a team, Ryder or President's Cup since 1994, as you watch Molinari's shot do what many of them have done, gone into that bunker. Every time Team USA has played since 94, that guy has been there. And now he has a chance to join one of the elite fraternities in golf, winners of 3 different major championships.
And his class exceeds his talent.
See a lot of appreciation and emotion in those reactions, but there is work to do still here. You have to remember it's a 2-shot lead over Westwood and Scott, and they've got that 17th to play, so it's one of those.
He's conscious of his breathing as he's walking up there. You have to be conscious of your walking pace when you're in these situations, and you have to be conscious of your breathing. The only way you can slow down your heart rate is if while you're walking and feeling this pressure is to control your breathing. Tom Watson said he didn't learn how to win until he learned how to control his breathing. Mickelson sucking in some air. It's great to see.
Well, that was happening.
Back at 15, Tiger Woods for par. He just hadn't played very well. It's pretty simple. Now Adam Scott, after leaving his birdie opportunity well short, this for par.
Oh my goodness.
And his putting has really let him down in the last 3 or 4 holes. He would go on to make bogey there. Now Lee Westwood second at 15.
It's a pitching wedge, Curtis. Again, as all the last 3 days straight downwind.
Get your best shot you can and hope to get lucky. We've seen so many shots come up just a bit short there. Just a soft area just in front of this flagstick. 17.
Henrik Stenson needs a bit of magic.
I bet he does. And 64 yards. Right at the flag, Scotty.
It's gorgeous. So tough to get the contact just right off a barren line.
Scott, remember in the lead up to this, we've talked about since World War II, the last 8 Opens played here, all been won by members of the World Golf Hall of Fame. Here's a Hall of Famer trying to add to his resume to equal the low round of the championship. Mickelson. And Phil Mickelson with a Sunday to remember at the Open Championship. Look how emotional Jim McKay's caddy is too. Steve Loy, college coach, longtime representative. Wife Amy, daughters Amanda and Sophia, son Evan.
You were awesome.
I love you guys.
Kevin, you were like, I gotta go find my card.
Phil, double scotch. Beautiful. Beautiful. Way to go, Phil.
And Butch Harmon, who's been working with Mickelson over this stretch of great success. And now to make sure that the math all adds up to 66, tying Zach Johnson's first round as the low round of the championship. And here's the birdie putt at 18. Career Grand Slam has been won by Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, And last, Tiger Woods winning the Open Championship in 2000. There's a half dozen golfers who've won 3 of the 4. Palmer and Watson never won the PGA. Snead never won the U.S. Open. Trevino never won at Augusta. Byron Nelson, Raymond Floyd never won this championship. If this stays like this, Mickelson joins that list and all the close calls that he's had over the years at the U.S. Open.
Well, he's truly one of the greatest that's ever played. This will go down in history as one of the best final rounds of a major. And how clutch was Mickelson, 16, 17, and 18.
66 when the average score was 73. Now a minute after that, here's what happened at 15.
Well, mathematically, this doesn't have to go in, but it would go a long way to get part of a playoff. Cannot hit a much better putt.
Man, that was awesome with Mickelson. Champion stuff. And this birdie for Stenson largely becomes about the amount of money that will be won, because that birdie on 18 for Mickelson would seemingly earn him the claret jug. Mike.
What a story. Phil Mickelson, 2 weeks over here, won the Scottish Open. These people so appreciated watching his greatness, his class, his connection with the crowds. And you saw that walking to 18. High five and a fist bumping, folks. Then a whole lot of hugs and tears after the birdie at 18. Mickelson leads by 3. Our Pacific Life final round highlights as we watched Phil Mickelson's incredible second 9 here. It's the par save at 16, Paul.
Spectacular tee shot here, and the ball just was right at the precipice of staying on top of all the way back off the green. He got up and down, and this shot here, 302 yards into the wind. For that ball to hit where it landed, it just was like fate for Mickelson. It's unbelievable. Nobody had gotten on this green in hours. And on 18, this will go down in the annals of history. .32. 34 the last 6 holes. Ridiculous stuff by Mickelson on Sunday here at the Open Championship. At 66, ties the low round of the championship. As we mentioned, also his best career final round in a major, birding 4 the last 6, coming back from 5 down. And if he wins 3 different majors since 1980, he'd be the 4th man to do that. And here's Phil with Tom Rinaldi.
All right. Mike, thank you very much. You just had a chance to look through those highlights there. You sort of shook your head. Birding 4 the last 6. Where does this round, this putting performance, I hate asking where it ranks, but I know it's a good answer.
I'm playing some of the best golf of my career, and today was one of the best rounds I've ever played, and it's the best I've ever putted. I mean, I just was I was seeing the line, the ball was rolling, it just was going in the hole. It was just an incredible day on the greens.
The natural question to ask is the last major championship, the 6th runner-up. That is about as low as I've seen you coming off a golf course, being that close. How do you describe then to now?
Yeah, I have quite a bit different feelings and emotions right now than I did just a month ago. This is just an incredible high, Tom. I didn't know in my career if I would ever develop the game as a complete player to win this championship growing up, not ever playing it. And I can't explain the feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment to win this tournament. Today's round will be one of the most memorable rounds of golf I've ever played.
What will stick out to you in particular? 4 birdies in the last 6 holes on that back 9. What was a turning point there for you in terms of approach, Phil?
Yeah, there wasn't any point where I looked to. It was the whole day. Bones and I just stayed in each shot, and we were trying to give ourselves the best chance as possible. And you need a lot of luck, obviously, to get the ball close. You need to hit great shots, but you have to have the right bounces and so forth. And then when I took advantage of those putts on 13 and 14, I mean, that was just an incredible feeling to make those putts, because you're not going to knock it stiff. You're not going to hit it have tap-ins. And I just putted amazing today, and I hit it as well as I ever have. I mean, they were just every shot was right on line.
Want to show you one particular highlight, and that's the final putt, the putt on the 72nd hole here on 18. I know, obviously, at the Scottish Open it was a 3-putt,
well,
but take me through what you're feeling here.
I played the maximum break allowable to feed it in just barely. I 3-putted a downhill putt last week, an opportunity to win if I 2-putt, and I just let that ball trickle in over the lip, played the maximum allowable break. It's just right there. It's just an amazing feeling right there. I'll never forget this.
You caddy Jim Mackay in tears there. You've been together so long.
Yeah, I can't explain what it means to have a friend and a partner and a caddy as Bones, and then to have Amy and Amanda, Sophia, Evan here. It just it feels amazing to be able to share this great moment with them, and to have somebody like Bones. I mean, he did such a great job this week managing clubs, and it's, you know, there are 3 different clubs you can hit on every single shot, dependent upon how much you move it into the wind or let it fall with the wind, what have you. And he did a great job all week.
You've talked about times about how difficult it is to try to balance your professional pursuits and your ambition with the importance of being a father. We saw that at the U.S. Open when you flew back for your daughter speaking at your 8th grade graduation. They're all here. How do you balance that out, and then how do you describe a moment when they're all waiting for you off the green as they were today?
We do the best you can, you know. We all want to have I think it's important to feel successful. You want to have a good balance between your family life, your professional life, your career, whatnot, and they've really been supportive. It's I mean, that moment right there, that's a picture I'll put on the wall, and every time I see it, remember this amazing feeling.
Earlier in the week, you said you had a hate-love relationship with this championship.
And that relationship is minute to minute, because 16 is a great example where I hit a perfect 6-iron in the middle of the green, drawing to the pin as solid as I could, and it ends up rolling back all the way off the green into a very difficult up and down. And at that moment, love was not what I felt. And then you hit 2 great 3-woods that just chase onto the green and end up perfectly and make birdie it, and then I fall back in love with it. So it's a minute-to-minute relationship.
We texted a little bit back and forth after the U.S. Open, and I thought back to a question that I had asked you after the Masters a few years ago about the difference between the great shot and the smart shot, where you had said a lot of times the smart shot is the one you don't have the courage to try. The great shot is the one that you do and you pull off. I think that compels a lot of people to watch you. How much did having to throttle that back to a degree filter into the success here in links golf?
Well, you have to pick your spots, and it's a lot of times dependent upon the pin and the wind, if the wind is helping the ball work towards the hole and whatnot. And so there were some shots that I tried. I mean, those 2 shots on 17 were very risky, because I'm taking on the left bunkers. We saw an 87 Zinger get into the bunker and have to wedge out and make bogey, and he lost. I had to take on those bunkers, and the worst rough on this course is 30 yards short left of 17 green. So if I hang that to the left and don't chase it on, it goes into the worst rough where I might not have a shot. But I took those 2 shots on and hit them perfectly and walked away with a tap-in birdie, and that birdie was really the one that ended up giving me that final push.
The 3rd leg of the Grand Slam for Phil Mickelson in terms of career perspective, and in his own words, one of the most memorable rounds of his entire career.
And if 6 seconds counted as a win, I'd have all 4 of them.
I'll leave that as the final word. You've torn up the interview room all week. Mike?
That's good.
Tom, thank you. Let's go over to 16. While we were talking to Phil.
That was earlier, Mike. This shot out of the front bunker. And realistically, any chance of catching Phil Mickelson requires this putt to go in. And of all the near misses for Lee Westwood in majors, you would have to think that this one will hurt the most. A 3-shot lead, playing beautifully, putting in a major championship perhaps better than he ever has. But it'll be 62 majors and counting for Lee Westwood without a major. One of the great players of his time, one of the greatest players in the history of the European Tour. Only player to finish in the top 3 in every major without winning any of them. And he will not have that life-changing moment here today as a major champion. Phil Mickelson, about to see his name on the claret jug.
Another look from another angle at more of the people who had that view of that piece of golf history. As Phil Mickelson makes birdie and grabs a 3rd different major title and a 5th in his career. And Jim Mackay, you saw how emotional Jim was. He's surrounded by the media. Curtis, what did you just say when we were talking about Bones?
Jim Mackay is one of the good people in golf. He really is. He's a lot more than a caddy. He's a dear friend of Phil and a partner.
And he's such a good person to so many of the people in the golf industry. Jim is always one of the people. Everyone has great words to say. Well, while we were away, Henrik Stenson tapped in for par, so Stenson in at even could be alone in second, depending what happens with these last couple of groups. Time players still out there grinding away. Woods at 17, Scott.
Where Mike, his day never got started and won't end with any momentum either. Did make par. He'll finish in the top 10, but you can see he's been muttering to himself throughout the day. The wait for the next continues, as does the wait for the first for the man on the fairway behind him, and that's Lee Westwood. It's going to require a 3 and a 2 finishing. Said you get in front of it again, meaning he's blocked it outright. And this is a difficult day for Lee Westwood, you'd have to imagine, as I believe it was Paul was suggesting earlier. So capable, so much game, but on this day, it belonged to Phil Mickelson. Truly a magical, magical effort. There's a lot of joy in the face of the man who's helping him out in Butch Harmon. He's won majors before, too, as an instructor.
Oh, stay here.
Go ahead, I'll watch the back.
It looks like they'll enjoy this as well. There's a...
Thanks. Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's phenomenal. Thanks. I'm so happy for it. Thank you. You bet.
Zach Johnson sharing his support. Phil Mickelson, day for the ages here in the Open.
You don't need to be a Scotsman to know. Golf grabs a hold of your heart and never lets go. You can live forever if you seize your moment. Phil Mickelson at Muirfield.
All but official. It's felt finished for the last 15 minutes or so. Lee Westwood, as Scott said, had to make some magic happen. Flailing away, 3rd shot at the par 5.
From the right rough. And at this point, what an enormous bummer this has turned into. You're nothing more than you're like a human rain delay. At this point, you're just preventing the champion golfer from being handed out. You're the last game out here. such a disappointment for Westwood.
And the guys in this group as well. Tiger Woods and Adam Scott. Second shots at 18.
It was only about 45 minutes ago. Both these players thought they had a chance to win this championship, and then it just dissolved. Tiger 209. Just try to land this ball somewhere around the front portion of the green. Wind pretty hard from left to right.
They left.
But he out there still grinding, which is part of the respect that you have for players.
Tiger's not the imposing figure he once was. There's no doubt about it. Guys are shooting 66 on him now instead of the other way around. He's struggled all day. He didn't have it from the get-go. He was tentative early on the greens. He's never looked good. His rhythm was off, and it's just a tough day for Tiger Woods.
17.
Where Westwood has this to get back to even par for the championship. It's all going wrong. 4 over. Tied for third. To the 18th.
Adam Scott second, Andy.
Yeah, not too long ago, Adam Scott was 2 under, made 4 bogeys in a row. Very similar to last year in the back 9.
He was leading the tournament. We all felt that these two guys would be the most dangerous to Westwood and to the field. And it just hasn't panned out that way.
Scott made the point. Feels like the end of the Ryder Cup after it's been decided and there's still matches out there. It's just kind of filling out the box score. And this is a guy who's made this walk 3 times on the way to the win. And makes it in a very different light today.
One big difference with Tiger that I see, Mike, is that he's lost a little bit of that childlike enthusiasm that he had for the game. It appears to be a job now. Maybe he feels the burden of trying to catch Nicklaus.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam.
A couple of guys who share a table on Tuesday of the first full week in April at Augusta and at the Champions Dinner there. Mickelson adds to his major title, and Gary Harvey starts to engrave the name Phil Mickelson. Takes 15 seconds per letter. He'll be done in time.
This hour of the Open Championship is brought to you by Franklin Templeton Investments. Gain from our perspective.
Well, now even the bizarre can't eclipse Phil Mickelson's total. He's officially the winner of the Open Championship. Tiger Woods for birdie at 18.
Hit his irons this week maybe as well as he's hit them in a long time, Mike. I mean, it's been several years since he's had that kind of control. And but on Major Championship Sunday, it just didn't happen for him.
That's nice to see. More than a handshake, some words back and forth with Tiger Woods and Steve Libbs. That's a pretty interesting moment there. Couple more after Thursday, and the score kept going up. So Tiger will finish in a tie for 6th, and before he putted, Adam Scott for birdie. And that'll get Adam Scott tied for 3rd. And depending what happens here back behind, it's either going to be a 3 or 2-way tie for 3rd place for Adam. And Paul, as we were just listening to the reaction as he was walking up 18, saw the face on Adam Scott and just the the energy coming out. It was very similar, without the sharp pains that go with it, to his reaction last year, right about this time. That was just the devastation, but there was just that kind of trembling of the lips, just like, can't believe. Again, had the lead on the back nine. This time briefly and not as big a lead. It's different circumstances, but felt close to that claret jug one more time.
He got real close, and it's very disappointing. Nothing like last year, as you say. It's been a great year for Adam Scott to come back and win the Masters. It's just so impressive to have that kind of heartache. It's kind of like, for Mickelson to come back after the U.S. Open. I just can't believe this guy has this kind of intestinal fortitude. It's great to see. I mean, Phil loves people, and they love him back. This crowd loved Phil Mickelson. I'm really happy for Phil and his family.
And by winning 5 major championships, you kind of jump up into another stratosphere and another level of greatness. You think back, and there are you have Seve, you have Byron Nelson, who won 5, and you have a couple members of that great triumvirate of Taylor and Braden. That goes back to an era when those two players and Harry Vardon won 16 of 21 Open championships, and those players, including Thompson, all their 5 majors were here, and the other two guys right around the turn of the 1800s to 1900s. So gives you an idea of Mickelson's greatness over time here. You start bumping up towards 6 major championships. Now you're getting towards the top dozen all time in the history of the game.
No doubt about it. He's one of the greatest players that's ever lived. He's an intelligent player. He weighs the odds, and he's a risk taker. And he took on this treacherous golf course, and he owned them. He owned the golf course and the players here today.
And there it is, right under the name of Ernie Els. It's another guy over 40, 3 consecutive years. It's some 40-something won the Open Championship. And Fred Couples comes out to give Jim McKay a big congratulatory hug. Westwood's second shot here at 18.
It's a 7-iron. Ball striking has just let him down today. He went from having plenty of time back at the 15th green to in 30 seconds having absolute urgency, and it was all evaporated by Mickelson's final birdie.
Second time, final round of a major with the lead, and Mickelson has a great day both times. In 2010 at Augusta, 2013 Muirfield.
Well, Mickelson is the total package now. You just have to say he has tremendous power.
Yep.
Phil has tremendous power, and he has a great touch. He studied psychology in college. He understands the mental part of the game. Mickelson does, and he's just got it. He's got it all.
Hunter Mahan is 2 over par, tied for 6th.
It's a round, Mike, that never really got going. Made that critical arrow driving it in the bunker, fairway bunker at 2, and never really recovered.
Only one player will finish this Open Championship under par. And the warmth of this welcome for Westwood. Westwood, it's par here, finished in the top 3. Mickelson's win, as we mentioned earlier, continues the Hall of Famers and the multiple major champions to win here at Muirfield. Look at the number of majors won. Talk about golf courses identifying greatness. Player Nicholas Trevino, Watson, Faldo twice, Eltz, Mickelson.
Well, Mike, we knew the day could belong to anyone. I mean, there's no doubt about that. If Westwood stumbled, it was going to be wide open. He stumbled late. Westwood did. He got off to a great start, and then it just started to come undone.
Hunter Mahan, second consecutive major in the final group.
I think Hunter's going to look at what's happened so far this year. Just he and Woody together will try to just figure out what it is they need to do to finish on top.
Well, this is a very common sight, not just after winning a major on Sunday, but after practice rounds or after rounds. You'll see Mickelson 30-40 minutes later out signing autographs. He's increased. It's a number from the scoreboard. A red 3. That's a good one to have. That red 3. That's what Mickelson will finish under par. I thought you said, well, Paul, the connection with the crowds and the people and the fans has helped, along with the talent and the backstory and everything else. We've seen Mickelson since he was late in his teenage days when he won as an amateur, and continue to see major moments around Phil. If this goes in, Westwood will tie for second. And if he makes that putt, he'll be tied for third. And if you're talking about the majors, you have to start really since the Masters, if you're trying to talk about all 4 majors and where somebody finished first Masters, played in 34. Lee Westwood has knocked on the door as much as anyone without winning. That is, if he makes that putt and finishes tied for third at 1 over par. Be the 8th time he's finished in the top 3 in a major without winning, more than anyone else in this Masters era, if you will, since the first playing at Augusta in 34.
He said yesterday, just didn't want to grow old, wondering if he didn't do anything and everything he could think of to try to win one of these tournaments. He's moved to the States. He's a young 40, Westwood. He's fit for his age.
Well, for the second time in a major, Hunter Mahan's in the last group on Sunday and shoots 75. Exactly what he shot at Marion. There he finished tied for 4th. Here he finishes tied for 9th. And this morning, Lee Westwood probably hoped he would have the last putt of this championship. And everybody would be waiting and watching. But hoped it would be for a lot more than a tie for third. And so it's done. And they'll have the prize giving ceremony here. Many of the fans will wait to watch that. We'll have it for you. 75 for Westwood. One guy gets the glory and gets to talk all about it. And then everybody else goes to work and starts thinking about Oak Hill and Rochester. Significant events, of course, in between now and then. But the next chance to make history is at Oak Hill in Rochester, the PGA Championship. Phil Mickelson, 66, major championship number 5. Last two Open Championship winners, Darren Clarke and Ernie Els, are 42. Phil Mickelson is 43 years old and has done so many different things. The constant experiment, always trying to change and tweak. Again, second straight major, no driver in the bag, and this time makes the big shots, the big moments. Mr. Mackay, that flag belongs to you. Not the flag. Not the flag stick, I should say, but the flag.
Right.
Right. Well, Tom Rinaldi caught up with Adam Scott, who finishes tied for third at 1 over and 4 back, and here's their conversation.
Alongside Adam Scott, you talked about how much you wanted to get back here, be in contention. You were on the final 9. What was the difference?
Yeah, the difference today for me was, you know, a couple of weak putts out there. All of a sudden, you know, I just got on the run again that you don't want to be on, and it's a shame because I feel it's a real wasted chance. I never got to the number 3, but I was looking good with 6 to go, and to give myself a chance, and that's all it was. It was a wasted chance.
2 under with 6 to go. How difficult were the conditions there at the closing stretch of those final 6?
Yeah, I mean, it's very tough to say that you're going to make a birdie because it's very hard to hit a shot close. You need a bit of luck to go your way, but you know, they're playing tough. It was very windy, and any error, again, was just magnified by the severity of the course.
What do you take from this week?
You know, there's a bit of disappointment at the moment, but another positive week. It was good for me to play well again after just playing mediocre, I guess, for the last couple of months. But to get myself back in the hunt and feel those nerves run through the body and the juices flowing was really good.
The name of the Masters champion and the name we see in contention in major after major. Adam, we appreciate the time.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
A good point there, Tom. That's the 7th consecutive major that Adam Scott has made the cut. In those 7 majors, he is 1 over, and Tiger Woods is next. It's 17 over for those 7 majors. Continue good performance. All right, I want to get their peek at the ceremony. You'll have a good seat for it in a moment. That's what it looks like. Signing one of those babies on Sunday at a major. Not many people have done that.
Tell you what, it's a pretty scorecard too. The birdies on 13 and 14 were unbelievable. He made a terrific putts the last 5 holes.
You saw the signature of the marker on the left, Francesco Molinari, who went around with Mickelson. Molinari shot 72, finishes 6 back in a tie for 9th with Hunter Mahan. And Tom Rinaldi standing by with Lee Westwood.
Mike, thank you very much. Lee, thanks for the time. The round seemed to turn in a way as you approached the turn, late on the front side there, maybe 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, a couple of bad shots and hit a couple of wrong clubs and plugged it in the traps. You know, dropping shots at 7, 8, and then felt like a drop shot at 9, you know, the par 5 straight downwind, which is probably one of the few pickup holes on this golf course. So, yeah, I would say I didn't play great, but I didn't play poorly either. It was just sort of middle of the road stuff. Nothing really happened for me, and I didn't make anything happen.
You've contended so often, but in this case, when you see someone birdie 4 of the last 6, what's your reaction to that?
Well, you got to hold your hands up sometimes, haven't you? I mean, you know, to birdie 4 the last 6 in any round is good. In these conditions, to these flags, last round of the Open Championship is pretty special. So everybody knows Phil's capable of that. So you got to expect it every now and again.
Know what the championship means to you. Thanks for the graciousness.
Thank you.
Mike.
Thank you, Tom. That is world-class Lee Westwood. Did an interview with the BBC and with Tom there after that disappointing 75. You go back through the last few groups, that 75 is one of the poorest scores. Well, Chief Executive of the RNA, Peter Dawson, ready for the ceremony.
Jim MacArthur, Chairman of the RNA Championship Committee.
Welcome to the presentation ceremony for the 142nd Open Championship. The 16th to be played here at Muirfield, the home of the Honourable Company of Edinburgh Golfers. The course has once again proved itself a tough test of golf and a true links challenge. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank the club for hosting the championship and for all the help and assistance we have received. This is the first time for many years, due to the prevailing weather, that we've been able to present the Open Championship in true links condition. Muirfield has certainly proved a stern test for all competitors. Colin Irvine and his team of green staff deserve our fullest praise and congratulations for presenting the course in such magnificent order. They have done an outstanding job. Our thanks also go to the thousands of volunteers whose efforts are so important to the staging of this championship. To the competitors who had to adapt their skills day by day. And lastly to you, our spectators, for supporting the players so knowledgeably and courteously, truly in the best traditions of the Open Championship. Thank you all for being here. May I also thank the residents of the properties immediately surrounding the golf course for their patience during what have been very busy weeks before and during the championship. I will now ask Peter Dawson to announce the prize winners and Robin Dow, captain of the Honourable Company of Edinburgh Golfers, to present the trophy. Thank you.
The leading amateur and winner of the silver medal is the boys amateur champion from Hallamshire, Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Matthew had to qualify to get in, and did. He is bound for Northwestern in September, an incoming freshman. And this young man had a great 72-hole performance and memory, and got to play in the final round alongside Fred Couples. And there's pictures of Phil Mickelson and all the other dignitaries. And for the rest of his life, had the silver medal as the low amateur at the 2013 Open Championship.
The runner-up and the winner of the silver salver is Henrik Stenson. And ladies and gentlemen, with a score of 281, the winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer of the year is Phil Mickelson.
Well, this was a day that I'll remember my entire life. It was one of the best rounds of golf I've ever played, and to be able to share this moment with Amy and my children, Amanda, Sophia, and Evan, to be able to share it with my main man, Bones, Steve Lloyd, Butch Harmon, who are here, it just makes this moment even more special. And I want to thank them for the support they've given me throughout their career. I want to thank the technicians at Callaway who helped make this win possible. I want to thank the R&A for the great job they did, and the membership here at Muirfield for setting up such a wonderful golf course, a very demanding, difficult test. and I just could not be more proud to be your champion. This is a win that I never knew in my career if I would be equipped, if I would have the shots, if I would have the opportunity to win a tournament here, and to do it, to play some of the best golf, probably the best round of my career, and break through and capture this claret jug is some of the most fulfilling, probably the most fulfilling moment of my career, because it was something I wasn't sure I'd be able to ever do. And I want to thank everybody for the opportunity, and I want to thank everybody for the support and for supporting this great tournament, and I'm very proud to be your champion. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that ends the presentation ceremony. Travel home safely, and we look forward to seeing you next year at Royal Liverpool Golf Club at Hoylake for the 143rd Open Championship. Now please welcome your Open champion, Phil Mickelson.
So next year, Phil will defend where Tiger won in 2006 at Royal Liverpool at Hoylake as we return to England for the Open Championship. Phil Mickelson's name joins many of the greatest players ever on the claret jug. Very well done, Phil.